Hey guys, Adam Retro Moments here, and it's another beautiful day here in Nagoya, Japan. And yeah, this is currently where I'm staying, outside the house. And yeah, it's a pretty cool neighborhood. A very calm neighborhood to be in the middle of the city, actually. But today's mission, guys, we are going to BOOKOFF. We're going to 2 BOOKOFFs. And yeah, they're about 30 minutes away with my bike. And today's mission, the stuff that I'm looking for, yeah, it's gonna be Super Famicom games as always, and some PS1 games. There are a few titles, you know, that I would really like to have that are way better in price here in Japan than the rest of the world. And I also need some Nintendo DS consoles. They're still in a pretty good price range here in Japan. And what else? I mean, if I come across Neo Geo stuff, I'll always, you know, check it out. And if it's a good deal, I might, you know, get it. We'll see. But I mean, anything that is a good deal, we'll check it out. You know, whatever it is. Anything retro game related, you know. BOOKOFF do have some surprises sometimes. So yeah. And also sometimes BOOKOFF actually has a junk section. It's usually way smaller than hardoff, but it's always worth digging in those, you know, those junk bins. But yeah, let's get to BOOKOFF. Alright guys, 30 minutes later we finally reached our final destination. Behind me here is the BOOKOFF Super Bazaar, which means that it's a little bit bigger than a regular BOOKOFF. And as you can see there, you have to go upstairs to go to the BOOKOFF. So yeah, they got some more stuff, clothes, all kinds of things, you know, in that kind of BOOKOFF when they're called Super Bazaar. But we are going to the grocery store here, Seiyu, which is a pretty big chain in Japan with department stores and shopping centers and all kinds of things. Apparently they have a small little arcade for the kids here. Anyway, I am going to just grab some snacks and something to drink. You know, after the bike ride, I gotta get some energy, even though some people call it fake energy, you know, but it's at least durable for now. And here we got the drinks and all the bread and stuff. So let's see. As you can imagine, lots of stuff to choose from here. And I usually go for melon soda, which is pretty awesome soda that only exists in Japan, I think. But today I feel like going something more, I don't know, something, let's see, Fanta strawberry. I haven't seen that one before. I'll pick that. And what else? We also need some bread or something. I do have, these ones. These are my favorites. And yeah, cheap price, 188 yen for a big pack. So much to choose from, you know. So much to try. But I ended up picking these vanilla buns, super soft, highly recommended. And now we are finally in BOOKOFF, the first stop, first BOOKOFF store, and we are going to check out the game section, which is right here, of course. Starting off with some accessories and consoles here. We got a boxed Gamecube controller for about $12 and an N64 controller for like $5. That's already pretty good deals, you know, if you compare to Western countries. And here's the bin with DS, 3DS, DSi consoles. And they seem to be around 2,200 yen. And yeah, they're all working. And the next bin, we got some Wii controllers, or Wiimotes as they're called. And yeah, people are eating these up nowadays in Europe. I think they're selling for like $40 each or something, which is pretty crazy. And wow, here's one that is less than $1, and the other ones seem to be around 700 yen, which is, you know, still a good deal, like right under $5. And some white PS3s, I believe they're only released in Japan, and a cool headset here for the PS4, and a boxed PS2, 11,000 yen. They've always been in that price range, you know, for a few years now. I don't know. At one point a few years ago, they were actually more expensive here than in Europe, which is pretty funny. And here we got 3 Famicoms in box, and the price seemed to be around 7,000 yen, which is right under 50 US dollars. And oh wow, this one seems to be a bit cheaper, 3,600 yen. So wow, that's not a lot for a boxed Famicom, but I'm sure there's something missing inside of it, you know. And let's just put a Mario Kart there so people can see it easier, and the BOOKOFF can sell it. And I'm not sure what this is, but it looks pretty cool. And here we got a bundle of Nintendo Land and a Wiimote for the Wii U, and Mario Kart Live, of course. I still have never played that one. Have you guys played it? I was wondering if it's actually, you know, good or bad. Let me know. But the Super Famicom section is right behind us, and there's a guy digging into it, so I'll wait until he's done. But wow, looking at these consoles, they're so cheap, man. I mean, 1,200 yen for a Wii? What, like, is it? I mean, I know this is the junk section, but still, you know. I mean, I might pull the trigger on one of these. And we got a Saturn here for 1,400 yen. Wow. And the time price is 4. Wow, what a game, what a game. And that one is like selling for at least $100 in Europe. I've seen it. And some more accessories down here. And I don't even know what this is for. Looks kind of funny to me. But yeah, this is the junk section, the junk corner, I should say. And these are even a little bit cheaper here. All the DS and 3DS. So 3,900 for a 3DS, pretty good price, but 1,480 yen. Man, that's less than $8. That's so cheap for a DS, and this color is pretty cool actually. So I am looking for a DS. I don't have a DS, so yeah, I might pick that one actually. Pretty cool color. It seems like the R button was faulty, but you know, that's an easy fix. You can just look up a YouTube tutorial and open it and clean it. That's usually it, you know. But now we are taking a dive into the next section, Gamecube games here. I've seen comments from people to check out more Gamecube games, so let's do it now. Kirby Air Ride, what a fantastic game, or is it? I don't even know. I've played it once and I thought it was a little bit simple, to be honest, but you know, the graphics and the courses were amazing. And here we got Sonic DX, which is a remake, I think, from the Dreamcast Sonic Adventure game, with better graphics, and you know, playing with the GameCube controller might feel more comfortable for some people. Beautiful Joe, another classic on the GameCube. Let's see what else. Oh, of course, we got Mario Kart there. Mario Kart Double Dash, you know. A lot of people feel like that's the best Mario Kart game ever. I feel like Mario Kart 64 is the best one. But, you know, it usually comes down to nostalgia, you know, what you play the most. And that's a game that I haven't seen before, actually. That's pretty cool. And we are coming down to the last of the GameCube section here. Luigi's Mansion, you know, another classic. And we got some Game Boy Advance games, and oh my god, don't tell me this is the same game that I found here 4 years ago. So this is Darius R. You know, if you know the Darius games, you know, it's a shooter, and usually they're pretty good, so yeah, that's kind of funny that it's here. I feel like it's the same, but who knows, And let's see what else. We got some Famicom games here too. Rockman 4. What a classic, but not as classic as number 2 in my opinion. And we got 5 as well here. Pretty good condition, pretty good prices. About $17 US for Rockman 4. I think that's a steal of a deal, isn't it? And Super Famicom game starts here apparently. We got Legend of the Success Yo. It's Joe, who used to be in a Japanese anime. Maybe you've seen it, I haven't. So let me know if it's good. I know that the Neo Geo game is pretty bad actually, so yeah, I'm not sure about the Super Famicom game, but it was cheap, about $5. And wow, Super Street Fighter 2, which is a classic, and yeah, you always find them, you know, when you game hunt in Japan. They're one of the most common games, and together with the other Street Fighters, of course. But this is pretty cool. Super Bonk, or Bonk's Adventure for the Super Famicom. And that's a game that I've been looking for actually, so yeah, I might think a little bit more about that. And we got another awesome game here, Mystical Ninja, and as many of you know, there were way more Mystical Ninjas coming out in Japan compared to what we got in the West, you know. We only got the first one, and there were 5 different Mystical Ninja games coming out for the Super Famicom. Anyway, to the Game Boy section here. Loose Game Boy section. Let's see if we can find some cool games. We got Mario 2 there for 200 yen, so less than $1. We got the Donkey Kong Country, Donkey Kong Land as it's called, and Pokemon trading card. Let's see what else. We already got into the Famicom section. Most of the titles here I don't recognize, so yeah, if you see some awesome games that I don't know, that I just skip, let me know in the comments, you know. I'm still learning. There's so many cool Japanese exclusive games, you know, that were released, and I've been focusing mostly on the Super Famicom and Neo Geo, but yeah, I'm still into Famicom and other systems, so yeah, just let me know if you see something awesome. And yeah, Super Famicom games here. Ooh, gotta be careful here. Super Famicom games, loose ones. Yeah, mostly common titles, it seems like. You know, that's usually how it goes. You see the same games over and over again, so yeah, you gotta go through every game if you're looking for something specific or something more uncommon, I guess. But yeah, let's dive into the next section, which is PS2 and PS1 here. But there's a guy looking, you know, at the games, so we are going to start slowly down here with Mega Man. This is some kind of collection of the older games, I'm sure. And what else do we have? We got Bomberman Land. It's a classic, and yeah, so many Bomberman games released. And also, what I have to tell you guys about BOOKOFF, they actually sort the games by genre, so I feel like it's actually easier to find the games that you're looking for in that kind of way. And here we have another awesome game, a game that I've been talking about a few times on my channel now, The Last Blade. And this is the PS1 port, which I heard is not as good as the arcade Neo Geo game, of course, but yeah, for this kind of price, 1,100 yen, I gotta pick it up, you know. This is something that I just want to have in the collection, just because I love the series so much. So if you like Soul Calibur, or if you like, you know, weapon-based fighters, you should definitely check out The Last Blade. I feel like Samurai Showdown got a lot more popular, you know, back in the days, and Last Blade didn't really get any spotlight, you know. So yeah, get on it and try it if you haven't. Continuing here with some more PS1 games. There were so many PS1 games released in Japan, so, you know, another issue there. I don't know all of them, you know. Still looking, still searching, still discovering. And here we got Burger, which is an arcade game ported to the PS1. You're trying to make a complete burger, you know, by putting all the parts together. And here's an interesting truck game, I guess, that I've never seen. Looks pretty cool, actually. I like the front cover. And Biohazard 2, Resident Evil 2, what a game, wow. First time I tried this, it was just, well, I was completely hooked, you know. And Hokuto no Ken, which is Fist of the North Star. Pretty cool fighting game, you know, not a favorite, but still pretty good. And here we got R-Type Final, which is a very good looking game, still to this day in my opinion. R-Type in 3D. It's an absolute blast of a game, definitely recommended. And let's see what else is in here. So I'm actually not looking for that many games for the PS2, but I do want Initial D, which is an amazing racing game, and some fighters that I would like to pick up too for the system. So if you got any PS2 recommendations, hit me up in the comments. And wow, that looks kinda crazy. Girl with a knife, what could this be? Yeah, but pretty cool artwork nevertheless. And the next game is Platinum, and yeah, we collectors, we don't like Platinum unless you're actually collecting for the Platinum, but you know, we want full artwork. And here is a very famous drum game that is still very famous to this day in Japan. Believe me, pretty much all the kids are still playing this in the arcade. You can see it everywhere, and adults are of course enjoying it as well. And let's see, Need for Speed. Yeah, that's not too interesting. I see that all the time in other countries when I go game hunting, but this is pretty cool. It looks to be Crash Bandicoot, The Wrath of Vortex, if I am not mistaken. And as you can see how colorful the artwork was. Such a huge difference, you know, to be compared for the Western release. And up here we got some Xbox 360 games. There are a few that I'm looking for, but seems to be mostly regular titles there. And yeah, this is the section, everybody, for this book off. We got some PS3 games here and PS4, of course. But that is for another time, or if you actually want me to go through some PS3 games and PS4 games, let me know in the comments, of course. But we're not completely done in this store, because there is a small showcase somewhere around where the cashier is, so it should be here. And yeah, as you can see, Book Off do have a lot of books, it's just that I don't film it that much, and toys and all kinds of stuff. But here we have the showcase, and they don't have that much, but a few Game Boys down here, and also the newly produced Game & Watch down there, and some Game & Watches back there, and some better condition 3DS's and Nintendo Switch. And up here we actually get an AV Famicom, and that's a pretty good price there. But for this time I'll be satisfied with Last Blade on the PS1 and the Metallic Rose DS here. So the Last Blade is a fighting game developed and released by SNK for the Neo Geo in 1997. And as you can see, it was also released for the PS1, only in Japan of course. And I've been talking about this fighting game on my channel previously about 3 times, I guess. And it's because it's that good, and I was curious to pick up the PS1 port, especially when it was this cheap, you know. And there are some features that are here that are not on the original Neo Geo version, just like this cutscene as you're looking at right now. And I mean, this game is so good. It's a beauty to look at. It's a joy to play. And if you're more into modern platforms, you can actually find this game as a digital download for PS5, PS4 and the Nintendo Switch, of course. And what I like about this game is that it's set in rural Japan, and all the characters are very different from each other. They play very different from each other. And also that it's a weapon-based fighter, you know, so it's a cool feature to be able to have swords and all kinds of weapons to you know, attack your opponent. And then we have the graphics, which I can talk about a lot more. It looks absolutely beautiful. It looks kind of like an anime, I guess. And there's just so much details to this game. Cool things going on in the background that you notice, you know, after you play 50 times on a stage. And yeah, it's just an amazing game. You guys definitely need to check it out. Alright guys, the sun has set and it's dark now in Nagoya, Japan, and we are going to visit BOOKOFF PLUS. That's on the way home here. So yeah, put the umbrella there because it was raining a little bit before I got here. Not that much, but yeah, this is a classic BOOKOFF for me. I've been here a lot of times because it's not too far from where I am staying. And wow, the section for retro games used to be here, exactly here actually, and there was also a showcase here with the games, but wow, they have much less of the games, so they moved it here to the corner. Interesting, but yeah, hopefully we'll find some good stuff here. But let's start with the showcase here. And wow, I see a lot of nice titles here, and we got King of Fighters 97, 16,000 yen, we got Sparks there, and Thunder Force 3, I saw Splatterhouse behind there, Gunnack, and oh wow, Akumajo Dracula XX, Castlevania Vampire's Kiss, Dracula X, that I actually bought here the last time I was here 4 years ago, but for a little bit cheaper. So prices are definitely going up, so yeah, hurry up to get your games before they go completely over the roof. And lots of nice Famicom titles here, and some more Famicom and Super Famicom titles here. Super Metroid, that's a game that has been steadily climbing, and it has English, you know. So if you want to play Super Metroid in English, you can actually get the Super Famicom version. That's always good. And let's see, we got GoldenEye, which is more expensive here than in Europe, which I always thought was pretty funny, but then again, it's a rare game from UK, so kinda makes sense, I guess. And a testing station for the Super Famicom. That's pretty good. That's always a nice touch, you know, to the game section. And a small little showcase here. We got a boxed Neo Geo Pocket Color for 14,000 yen. That's actually a pretty good price, and I can see myself there. And yeah, that's how I recorded this video apparently. But anyway, we got some Wonder Swans in there as well. And the prices are actually pretty good, so yeah, gotta go back to that later, I guess. And a few Game Boy Advances and the OG Game Boys here for pretty good prices, but I guess this is gonna be the junk section then, especially when you see yellowed consoles, you know it's the junk, right? So yeah, let's see what the prices are for these Super Famicoms, and yeah. As you can see, it's basically free, guys. You just grab whatever you want here and hope for the best, right? Gamecube controllers, always good, you know. Those are also getting a little expensive because it's such a good controller. It still holds up, you know. And a PS1 down there, AV Famicom and Famicom. And if we turn around, look at this. We got a huge wall of Super Famicom games. Take a look at this, and also a smaller section, but still a lot of Famicom games. And got a guy here who's also into Super Famicom, I guess. Contra 3, The Alien Wars. That's a classic, 1,500 yen. That's a good price. I feel like I need to have that game, so I might pick it up. Street Fighter, a classic. Always here, tons of copies. You'll never miss that one. It's always here. And less of the boxed games, which is to be expected, of course. But man, I can definitely spend an hour just checking out every Super Famicom game here. That's for sure. But let's focus on the complete ones up here. And yeah, Super Street Fighter 2 again, you know. I got 2 copies of it here, and a classic Japanese game that is maybe not so playable if you don't know Japanese. But yeah, tons of Super Famicom cartridges here for people to buy. And if we turn around to the other side, it actually continues. We got some more Super Famicom games, and on the top some N64 games. But let's see if we can find a nice title here. We got the Mickey and the Magical Quest, which is a good platformer, but very common in most regions, I believe. And here we have Yu Yu Hakusho 2, decent fighter for around $2. But going further here, we have a PS2 section that is a little bit busy right now by a touristy guy, I guess. I don't know him. But up here we got a Dreamcast section and some PS1 games, and yeah, that's a nice one. We got the Street Fighter 2 collection here with all the Street Fighter 2 games. That's a good one to have. Such a classic game, holds up so good, and I'm sure most of you know that. And here we got Gradius, also another cool shooter, you know. But I am looking for the Darius, the G-Darius. That's what it's called for the PS1, which was one of the first shooters I ever played actually and enjoyed. We got another Biohazard 2 here, which is fairly common in Japan. But let's see, I don't really see anything that sticks out except Rockman Classic, but PlayStation the best version, that's not what I'm looking for. But yeah, I'm sure I will find G-Darius if I dig around a little bit. I'm pretty sure I saw it in this store before, so that's why I came here to get it. And Kirby's Air Ride. Yeah, here we have it again. So it's actually pretty common in Japan if compared to US and Europe, where the game is going for outrageous amounts of money. And next up is the DS section, of course, which is usually kind of big. A lot of DS games released. Handheld is a very popular thing to be playing on in Japan. Handhelds. And Steel Battalion in the middle of everything. That's pretty cool. It's not that common actually. But if we keep going here, we can also find a section with newer games, of course. Got a wall of Nintendo Switch here, and PS5 console is just laying here, ready to be bought. So here we got some Pokemon games for Nintendo Switch, and I'll show you the prices here, you know. So you can actually see that it's a bit cheaper still if you buy used Switch games here, and you get pretty much condition like new if you buy them from Japan, from BOOKOFF. So that's highly recommended for Switch gamers. But back to this beautiful cabinet, glass cabinet of games. Gunnack was there as well, and Wario Land for the Virtual Boy. That's another one that I'm looking to get, because I do have a Virtual Boy. And we also have some games on the side here. Yeah, just check it out. Beauty and the Beast. I heard that that's a pretty good platformer, so yeah, I would like to check it out one day. I mean, it's a classic Disney movie, so Disney platformers were pretty good back in the day, you know. And I don't know how I missed this, but boxed Super Famicom looks pretty alright, and the price was around 5,000 yen, so that's pretty good as well. Alright, so let's dig in a little bit more in the Super Famicom section. I see a game that I always recommend, and I'll do it one more time. Mario and Wario, which is a pretty cool puzzle game that you're using the SNES mouse. Only released in Japan, highly recommended. It's a super fun game. Tiny Toons Adventures and Super Ghosts and Ghosts. And here we finally have our hidden gem, Pop and Twinbee Rainbow Bells Adventure. If I didn't already have it, I would definitely pick it up. Fantastic platformer for 2 players at the same time. So I decided to pick up these 3 amazing games from this store. And here we have a game that I'm sure most of you are familiar with. It's Contra 3, The Alien Wars. One of the best SNES games ever made, I dare to say. And it's a run and gun game for 2 players, co-op. Yeah, it's a game that I've played multiple times, and it's just as fun every time. So why did I pick up this game? Well, first of all, it's cheap and I didn't have the SFC version. And the second reason is that we never got this game in Europe actually. Well, actually we did, but they switched out humans for robots and changed the story a bit. all because of a massive shooting going on in Germany, which shocked the whole country. So Konami decided to change a few details about the game and then release it for the European market. So that's a fun little story for ya. I bet there are still a lot of people from the US that didn't know about this. Anyway, this game is a classic, and if you haven't played it yet, you should definitely do it. Do it after this video, it's that good of a game. So if everyone loves it, you will love it too. Next is G-Darius for $11. G-Darius is a horizontally scrolling shooter arcade video game released by Taito in 1997. It is the fourth arcade installment of the Darius series and the first with 3D dimensional polygon graphics. A port to the PlayStation was published, and this is exactly what you're looking at. And for this game, it is very special to me as it is the first shoot 'em up game that I gravitated towards too when I was younger. I did play some R-Type and some other kind of shoot 'em up games before this one, but they never really struck with me, and there was something about this one that was just incredible to me. I love that it was more fast-paced, I love the 2.5D graphics and the huge bosses, and yeah, it just caught my attention. I kept playing this over and over again on a demo CD, so I'm so happy to finally have the full game in its Japanese form. There was also a PS2 and a Windows version released for this game, and recently it got an HD upgrade and released for PS4, PS5 and the Switch. So if you're into shooters, or if you're not into shooters, you should definitely try it out at least once. I think it's that good of a game. And here is Rockman 8 for $6. Rockman 8 or Mega Man 8 is a platform game developed and released by Capcom in 1996 and released to the rest of the world in 97. And that was the same year as this got a release on the Sega Saturn. And a lot of people are actually saying that the Saturn version is a little bit better, has better animation and so on. But it is also way more expensive than the PS1 version. I think it's even over $100. Anyway, Rockman 8 is the first game in the series made available for the 32-bit consoles. And while it doesn't do anything new or innovative, it takes all the previous elements of Mega Man games and squeezes it into this one game. As for the graphical aspect of the game, it actually looks pretty good. It has a very colorful tone to it, very cartoonish look. But it looks really good, and I think that it holds up very well for today's standards. Definitely a game you should have in your collection.